You know the sound a slow drain makes. That low, reluctant gurgle, water sitting in the basin long after it should have gone. You run the faucet, watch the water collect instead of clearing, and stand there deciding whether to pour something down it or just leave it another week. Half the country has been in that spot more than once. The thing you pour down it, whether that is the bright orange bottle from the hardware store or the baking soda trick you read about somewhere, probably helps for a day. 2 days if you are lucky. Then the slow drain is back and you are one more step closer to calling someone who is going to charge you somewhere between $150 and $250 to come look at a clogged pipe. What I want to show you today costs about $3. It has been sitting in the laundry aisle of every grocery and hardware store in this country for years. And nobody told you to use it on your drains because there is simply no profit in doing so. 1 cup of it, poured the right way, will clear a slow drain the way those chemical bottles rarely manage to, and without leaving anything in your pipe that does not belong there. I grew up on a mountain hollow in the Blue Ridge, in a farmhouse fed by creek water for the better part of a century. Hard minerals, soap buildup, grease from a wood stove kitchen. My mother kept every drain in that old house running clean for 60 years without a plumber visit and without a single bottle of chemical cleaner. Annie Hemingway is my name, and the hollow where I grew up is where everything I know about keeping a home comes from. Fixing a slow drain was just one of the everyday problems we handled ourselves because out there in the hollow you fix things with what you knew. Every comment that finds its way in, I read, and I am genuinely curious where you are watching from, so drop your town or your state below. Folks from all over the country have been finding these old homestead methods, and the subscribe button is right there if you would like to keep getting them. Here is the truth about the 2 things most households reach for when a drain slows down. The chemical drain cleaners use sodium hydroxide. Lie. It does dissolve organic matter in a drain, but it also softens old pipe fittings and eats at rubber seals over time. If your plumbing is not brand new, you are probably paying twice, once at the store and again when the fittings fail earlier than they should. The baking soda and white vinegar combination is gentler, and it fizzes, which feels like something happening. What it actually is, chemically, is a neutralization reaction. The acid in the vinegar and the alkali in the baking soda cancel each other out, and by the time the fizzing settles, what you have poured into your drain is mostly water and carbon dioxide gas. Not a thing in that pipe knew you were trying. I do not say that to be hard on anyone who has used it, but it is worth knowing before you spend another box on the method. What my mother used, and what her mother used before her in that same farmhouse, was washing soda. You may see it labeled sodium carbonate or sal soda on older boxes. It is not baking soda. Baking soda is sodium bicarbonate. Mild, useful for a great many things, but not strong enough to break down the grease and soap film coating the inside of a drain pipe after months of use. Washing soda is sodium carbonate, and it sits at a considerably higher point on the alkaline scale. When it meets water, it does not neutralize and fizzle out. It saponifies grease, converts it into something a drain can rinse away. What matters is that it dissolves what a baking soda solution cannot touch, and it does it without harming the pipe. A box runs $3 to $4. You will find it in the laundry aisle, often near the borax or the washing powders. Arm & Hammer makes the version most stores carry, though the compound is the same regardless of the label. A kitchen drain and a bathroom sink deal with different kinds of buildup, and the washing soda is applied a little differently for each. The amounts, the wait time, and the variations for the tub drain, the shower floor, and the utility room floor drain are all written out in my handbook of old Appalachian home methods drain and cleaning chapter, with each one mapped out plainly. There is a good deal more in that handbook besides damp and mold, the pantry, cold weather, the seasonal work, and you can reach it through the code on your screen right now or the link in the description. That is the one time I will mention it. The kitchen drain is what we will work through because it is almost always the first to slow down, and the method there carries over into every other drain in the house. Start the kettle first. The heat matters more than people tend to give it credit for, and I want to explain why before the washing soda even enters the picture, because skipping the hot water step is the single most common reason this does not work as well as it should. A kitchen drain slows down for one primary reason: grease. Every meal cooked, every dish rinsed, every pan run under the faucet. The grease from all of it went somewhere. It went down the drain and began coating the inside of the pipe. Layer by thin layer, that coating builds up over months until the pipe is effectively narrower than it was. Water still passes through, but slower. What most kitchen drains have is not a solid blockage, but a layered sleeve of grease and old soap film closing in from the walls. The boiling water is the softener. When you pour it down first, slowly, not all at once, it heats that coating and begins to loosen the surface of it. Think of cold lard sitting solid in a pan, then what happens the moment heat gets underneath it? You need enough water to actually heat the pipe, not just the drain opening, roughly a full quart, poured in a slow and steady stream. Let it sit for a full minute before the next step. After that minute, pour 1 cup of washing soda straight down the drain, dry, not dissolved in anything first. It will meet the residual hot water sitting in the trap below and begin working immediately. What it is doing in those first moments is saponifying, pulling the grease off the pipe wall, converting what was a clinging coating into something the water can carry away. The reaction starts fast. What takes time is letting the solution work through the full length of the affected stretch of pipe rather than just the first few inches of it. Leave it for 20 minutes. If the drain has been running slow for months, leave it for 30. You will not damage anything by waiting longer. What you want is full contact time with the buildup, not just a surface pass. When the time is up, boil a fresh quart of water and pour it down in the same slow, steady way. This is the rinse, and it is just as important as the soda itself. The washing soda has broken the grease loose from the pipe wall. The hot rinse water is what carries it the rest of the way out. A cold rinse or a slow trickle leaves some of that loosened material sitting in the trap, and the drain will slow again within a week. Hot water moves it through completely. For a bathroom sink, the process is the same, but the problem is different in character. Bathroom drain buildup is mostly soap scum, calcium stearate from bar soap mixed with toothpaste residue, and the early stages of hair accumulation. Washing soda handles soap scum well. Use 1 cup of soda, the same boiling water before and after, the same 20-minute wait. If yours has a rod and linkage stopper that sits just below the drain opening, pull it out before you do anything else. Clean it by hand. It collects its own mat of hair and film right at the surface, and no amount of washing soda will reach past it if it is sitting there. Once that stopper is clean, run the treatment on the pipe itself. Now, I want to be plain with you, because I would rather say this clearly than have you disappointed and wondering what went wrong. Washing soda dissolves grease and soap film. It does not dissolve hair. A drain that is slow primarily because of a hair clog, common in a tub or a shower floor drain, will not respond well to this treatment alone. Hair is protein, and sodium carbonate is not a protein-dissolving compound. A true hair clog needs a drain snake or a hair tool pulled up by hand, and that is a different job from what we are doing here. If something solid fell down the drain, a small lid, a piece of something, the washing soda will clear the grease around it and the drain will still run slowly. That wants a snake or a set of plumber's hands, and there is no old Homestead trick that changes that. And if your pipes are very old cast iron with no interior lining, use any strongly alkaline solution sparingly. PVC and copper, which is what the majority of homes have now, are completely unaffected by washing soda used this way. But if your house is old enough that its plumbing has never been updated, ask someone who knows your specific pipes before you make this a monthly habit. What washing soda does do on a kitchen drain coated in grease or a bathroom sink lined in soap film, it does thoroughly. 1 cup, a kettle of boiling water before, another one after, 20 minutes of patience. That is the whole of it. The question I get most often at this point is about the drains that did not slow gradually. The the ones that seem fine one week and stopped up the next. The answer to that, and the way this same method extends across every other drain in a house, is worth walking through carefully. The drain that stops suddenly, the tub, more often than anything else, is almost always a hair clog that finally built past the point where water could push through it at all. Washing soda is not the first tool for that job. A $2 hair drain tool from any hardware store, a long plastic strip with small barbs along its length, pulls the surface mat out by hand before you do anything else. Once that is clear, run the washing soda treatment on what remains in the pipe. What the soda gives you after the hair is removed is a clean pipe wall, soap scum stripped back, nothing left for the next accumulation to grab onto. Used together in that order, the two tools keep a tub drain running longer between cleanings than either one does alone. The tub overflow drain is one that almost every household forgets entirely. It sits near the top of the tub wall, that small oval plate, and its purpose is catching water before it spills over the edge. Behind that plate, there is a pipe that develops its own soap film lining over time, and it almost never gets attention until the whole tub backs up and nobody can figure out why, because the drain at the bottom looks clear. Pour a half cup of washing soda and a quart of boiling water directly through that plate opening every couple of months. Let it sit for 15 minutes, then rinse it with another quart of hot water. It takes less than 3 minutes, and it is the kind of small habit that prevents a large mystery later. A utility room sink tends to run slow for different reasons than a kitchen sink. Paint water, laundry rinse water, cleaning residue, things with a different chemical makeup than cooking grease. Washing soda handles it the same way, same cup, same hot water before and after, same 20-minute wait. A basement or laundry room floor drain is the one that wants a slightly different approach. It sits dry between uses, and what collects at the bottom of the trap is mineral crust and dust rather than grease. Pour a half cup of soda and a quart of hot water in to dissolve that surface layer first. Let it sit for 15 minutes, then follow with a full quart of very hot water. Do that twice a year, and the floor drain stays functional and ready for the times you actually need it. The real system, the one that keeps every drain in a house running clean without ever turning into a repair job, is a first-of-the-month habit. Any drain that sees daily use gets 1 cup of washing soda, a quart of boiling water before and after 20 minutes of sitting time. Start in the kitchen, move to the bathroom sinks, to the tub, to the shower. If you have a utility room or a basement drain, add those on the same morning. The whole house takes under 20 minutes if you move through it with a kettle and a box of soda. You are not treating a problem when you do it this way. You are keeping one from forming. My mother worked through that old Blue Ridge farmhouse the same way every spring, right around the time the weather warmed and the creek started running high with snowmelt. She called it getting the house ready for the cooking season because summer meant canning and preserving and the kitchen working longer hours than the rest of the year. She started in the kitchen and ended at the floor drain near the back porch. My grandmother had done it the same way before her, and she called the washing soda by its older name, Sal Soda, the name that appeared on the box in her day. She kept a cloth bag of it on the shelf above the utility basin, and she treated every drain in that hollow farmhouse twice a year like clockwork, once before the hard fall work and once in the spring. There was no mystery to it for her. She had grown up in a house where the pipes were the house's veins, and keeping them clear was no different from keeping the garden weeded or the wood stove ash cleaned out. The farmhouse had no chronic drain problems in all the years I was a child in it, and it was old plumbing running hard water from a mineral creek. She maintained her way past every problem before it arrived. A bottle of chemical drain cleaner runs somewhere between $6 and $12 for a single use. The label tells you not to breathe it, not to let it sit on the porcelain too long, and to keep it away from children and pets. What it contains is a strongly caustic alkaline compound, and it does dissolve organic buildup in a pipe, the same basic chemistry as washing soda, pushed to a more aggressive concentration. The box of washing soda that handles the same job costs $3 to $4 and treats every drain in your house for several months running. The chemical cleaner exists because a problem you can sell a cure for is worth more than a habit nobody needs to buy. There is no bottle for maintenance. There is no product for prevention. The industry does not profit from a monthly cup of soda and a kettle of hot water, so nobody in that industry is going to tell you about it. That is not a conspiracy. It is simply how things get forgotten, not by accident, but by the quiet logic of what is worth advertising and what is not. What it comes down to, practically, is one small purchase and a habit worth building. A box of washing soda, sodium carbonate, not baking soda, available in the laundry aisle at most grocery stores or any hardware store, usually sitting near the borax and the washing powders. Arm & Hammer sells the version most stores carry. Expect to pay $3 to $4 for a box that will last you several months if you are working through the whole house on a regular schedule. On the first of any given month, fill your kettle and start in the kitchen. Pour a full quart of boiling water down the drain slowly, not a rush, a steady pour, and give it 60 seconds to heat the pipe. Follow with 1 level cup of dry washing soda straight from the box, poured straight down. Let it sit for 20 minutes or 30 if the drain has been sluggish for some time. Then boil a second quart of water and pour that in at the same steady pace. The hot rinse is what finishes the job. It carries the loosened grease out of the pipe completely and keeps it from settling back down into the trap. Move from the kitchen to the bathroom sinks. Pull the stopper mechanism out by hand if your sink has one and clean it yourself, because that is where a great deal of soap film and hair collects before it ever reaches the pipe. After the stopper is clean, run the full cup and 2 kettle treatment on the pipe. The bathroom sink responds to washing soda faster than the kitchen in most houses because soap scum releases more readily than cooking grease does. The tub drain comes next, but check it first for a hair mat near the surface. A $2 drain hair tool, a long plastic strip with barbs along both sides, pulls that clear in under a minute. After the hair is gone, run the same washing soda treatment on the pipe itself. Do the tub overflow drain separately, the oval plate set into the tub wall near the top, with a half cup rather than a full one because the pipe behind it is narrower. If you have a utility room sink or a basement floor drain, finish the round with those. The floor drain wants a half cup of soda and a quart of hot water twice a year, not monthly, because it sits dry between uses, and what collects there is mineral crust rather than grease. Keep the box of washing soda on the shelf where you store your laundry supplies so it is there when the first of the month comes around. The habit is worth considerably more than any single treatment because a drain that is maintained never becomes the emergency. You stay ahead of the slow drain and the orange bottle and the $150 phone call. $3 and a kettle of water, every drain in the house, once a month in order. Now I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments which drain in your house gives you the most trouble. The kitchen, the tub, the shower floor. I am genuinely curious because the answer almost always depends on the age of the house and the mineral content of the local water. Tell me what part of the country you are watching from as well, because hard water changes the picture considerably, and I like knowing where folks are writing from. Every comment that comes in, I read. People have been paying for drain services and chemical products for decades when the answer has been sitting in the laundry aisle the whole time. If holding on to that kind of practical home knowledge matters to you, the kind that keeps the house running without a phone call, then stay close. The subscribe button keeps these old homestead methods coming your way, and there is more ahead worth knowing. A running drain is a small thing in the life of a house. It barely registers when it is working well. But what my grandmother understood, what the mountain women in that hollow learned across generations of old pipes and hard creek water and long demanding seasons, is that the small things, kept up faithfully, are what hold a house together. Let them go, and they stop being small. Tend to them, and the house keeps running the way a well-kept home is supposed to. Keeping the water moving through the pipes is one part of the work. What the water leaves behind on its way through is the other part. The white mineral crust around faucet bases, the chalky ring inside the kettle, the scale that closes a shower head down from a full stream to a thin trickle over the course of a year. Hard water deposits build up the same quiet way grease builds up in a drain, one invisible layer at a time, unremarkable until the problem has already settled in. The old Homestead remedy for that costs about as much as a box of washing soda, and it has been sitting in most kitchens longer than anyone would guess.